This was the last moment caught on CCTV of Megan Newton just moments before she was murdered. And you won't believe what happens next. In today's true crime story, we're covering Megan Newton, who was an 18-year-old girl from the United Kingdom in Stoke-on-Trent. Megan was an 18-year-old girl. She had blonde hair. She liked to go out a lot with her friends and drink, go out for brunches. She liked to chill with her friends a lot. And on this evening, on the 20th of April 2019, she was about to go out as she normally would. She worked in a fish and chip shop, so she worked up until late and then she finished her shift. She started getting ready to go out. You know, like I said, she always likes going out with her friends, so it seemed. So as any other normal night, it was the 20th of April 2019, and she decided that she would finish her shift and go out on a night out. She was caught on CCTV getting home around about 11 PM, going in from her work shift, getting changed from a uniform into her going out clothes, and just after 11 PM, she left apartment, it seems, to go out on the night out. Now she went out, went out with her friends, she went to a few bars, had a few drinks, really had a good night. Like I said, she really enjoys going out with her friends. Her friends had a good night with her, and she stayed out for quite a while. You know, she went out at 11 PM. Well, she left around 10:45 PM, but she went out around 11. Stayed out to early hours of the morning, and just kind of drank as most 18-year-olds do on nights out. Once she'd finished drinking, she obviously wanted to get home. Now this is where the story twists, because this is very disturbing, and this is where the story gets really deep. When she was in school, she knew a guy called Joseph Taylor, a long school friend from many years ago. And as she was leaving the nightclubs and the clubs and the bars, she went to a taxi rank to get in a taxi home, because she obviously had no lift, so she needs to get a taxi home. A normal procedure, it seems to be, for her after a night out. So she went to taxi rank and stood there waiting when she bumped into Joseph Taylor, a friend from many years ago in school. They were good friends. And obviously they had a chat. They were both talking. They were both extremely drunk, and they were both talking in this taxi rank for a while, waiting for a taxi to come for them both to get home. So when Joseph was there and we're talking to Megan, apparently he was telling Megan about how angry his parents were going to be because he was so drunk. He was so intoxicated. He had way much to drink. It was too late in the evening, and if he goes home now, he's probably going to get in a lot of trouble. You know, he's a teenager. He's drank too much. He's probably going to wake everyone up in the house. So he was telling Megan all his problems, you know, how he shouldn't be able to go home, and he's probably going to get told off. So Megan, with the kindness of her heart, basically said to Joseph, look, you can come back to mine. You know, you can stay at mine, let the drink wear off, sober up, and get up in the morning, go home, and just tell your mum and dad that you stayed at a friend's house and you fell asleep and forgot to tell them. That was the plan. So Joseph was very appreciative of this. There's a CCTV footage of them both getting in a taxi together, as you can see here. And they went back to Megan's house. Again, they were long school friends. Nothing other than that, nothing like romantically. It was just literally friends helping out friends. So they got a taxi and headed back to Megan's place. So it seems that a taxi got back around about 4 AM. There's a CCTV footage here of them getting out the taxi and heading back towards Megan's flat at around 4 AM. So they had a good night. Megan's been out for a few hours. Joseph's been out for a very long time too. And they're going back to Megan's house, as you can see in the CCTV, so they can just go to sleep, wear it off, and that was that. Their apartment complex had CCTV, and this is the footage right here of them walking in through the apartment to Megan's room. And this CCTV footage was the last video ever seen of Megan. After these two individuals walked through that door, Megan was never seen ever again, and she was about to be brutally murdered in the most disturbing, disgusting way. At 5:54 AM, there's a video here of Joseph leaving Megan's room without Megan. He was leaving her apartment with keys that were her keys, not his keys, and he was walking out, caught on CCTV around 5:54 AM, and he went outside and basically threw the key, Megan's key, just in the yard, just threw it away, kind of where she lives. He didn't even try and hide the key. He just threw the key kind of as he walked out, almost like kind of weirdly, like he didn't care. I don't. No one really knows. It's kind of weird. He just threw the key and walked off. Like, if you murder somebody, people try normally and hide the key or take the key with them. He just left the key kind of where he was. Very strange, and he was caught on CCTV doing that too. Now, police, obviously after this all came out, looked through CCTVs as well, and they found this video where Joseph Trevor was seen to be walking down the road, and he was looking at his hand, almost like a sign of guilt. You can see here, he was caught on CCTV just basically looking at his hands, and on his hand you can see blood. So he seems like he's either panicking or he's just making sure there's nothing on his hands, which there clearly is. So at this point, he's trying to go home. He's just committed a massive murder, and his mind, what was going through his mind right now is unknown, but he's just killed one of his best friends from school, murdered her, and he's just left the body there, threw the key away, and just walking home. A few hours later in the day, a neighbor was walking around Megan's apartment, especially outside, and they found a key on the floor. The key had loads of blood stains all over the key. So this neighbor rang the police straight away. They tried locating why the key was on the floor, and as you guys remember, Joseph threw a key on the floor. It turned out to be obviously Megan's key, and on the key was loads of blood on it. So the police investigated, and they realized this key is most likely to a room in the apartment complex that Megan was living in. So they went to her apartment, knocked on the door, she wasn't answering. So it took investigators to kind of basically like get inside to find out next, which is very disturbing what happened. Megan had been SA'd, she had been stabbed 9 times in her neck and her back, and she was also strangled on that evening. Joseph and Megan went back to her apartment. This wasn't an accidental murder, this was almost a rage of some sort. To stab somebody 9 times, strangle them and SA them is extremely brutal, and my thoughts go out to all of the families and the victims in this story. It really is disturbing. I'm so sorry to hear about this. But later on that day, Joseph was basically at his house, his parents' house, when the police came. Obviously they looked through CCTV and realized that he was the last person with her, and he was arrested immediately of the murder of Megan. After the police arrested Joseph, he was taken into the police station, and he was sentenced to the minimum of 22 years in prison with life. This was the true story of Megan Newton and Joseph Trevor, one of the most disturbing stories I've ever covered, as well, because of all the CCTV footage that really shows all of the in-depth, as you can see, all the in-depth trueness of this story. You can almost watch it unfold, which is so disturbing. And again, for my thoughts to all the families who have had to see this go on, it makes it bring it to life so much more, and it makes it much more disturbing and hard to watch. But that's it guys for this true story. If you want to see more true crime stories, make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications. I post true crime stories every single day. So if you are a true crime junkie and you want to keep up with all these stories, I try my best to break down these stories as fast as I can, but without missing out any of the most important details to these crimes. I'll see you guys in the next video.